Dun, dun.
And we are live.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
We're live.
What's going on? So we got a special guest on the show tonight. Her name is Leigh Henry. She's one of our Poshing for Profit students, and she's a Poshmark user right now. She's having some decent success on Poshmark. So we thought we'd bring her on and have a little chat with her tonight. Leigh, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Leigh, and I've been on Poshmark since, I think my first listing was February 19th, and then I think it sold like 2 days later. So I've been on for not quite 6 months, I guess. Pretty new still.
So if you want, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are now? And
Absolutely. Goodness, my job history is, I've had lots of jobs. I'm a certified high school English teacher in Pennsylvania. And I also have worked in retail management much of my life full time. I've worked for lots of different companies, but I had the really unique and special opportunity for 2 years to work as the manager of a bin store. And it was for a wonderful charity that I believe in with all my heart. So I was really excited for the opportunity. And it was a wonderful 2 years. I got to mentor some people. I was mentored. It was really the most positive work experience I've ever had. Unfortunately, my daughter had some health issues and was going to have to be home and have a homebound teacher brought in. And so an adult had to be home with her. And really with my job schedule, my husband's job schedule was picking up. And with retail hours, it's hard to be there for your family sometimes.
definitely.
So I put in my 2 weeks and very sad. And I really struggled. I really struggled with not working. I planned on working with the school district part-time. And I also thought I would sell on eBay. I got started right away trying to sell on eBay. As soon as my last day of work, I think the next Monday I was trying on eBay. It just didn't seem to be the same as when I used to sell shoes on eBay way back when, like 2005, 2006, 2004 even. It just seemed like a lot had changed, and I stumbled upon Poshmark and gave it a try. And I got started with that, and I also was working at the school. As a substitute teacher, as a test proctor. In other years, I've done homebound instruction. I didn't this year. However, when I was in high school, I was in a school shooting. I was across the hallway. It was very sad. A student lost their life. Somebody I knew, another person I knew did it. Very traumatic. And it turns out all these years later that I really had to admit to myself that I have PTSD, and I had to admit to myself that is just a setting in the school setting. I really had a hard time. They do frequent lockdown drills and things like that. And it was just got to be too much for me physically. And I think my mind, I kept saying like, oh no, I can soldier through, like I can be okay. But my body was having like a whole different reaction. And so I'm a big fan of talking about mental illness. I'm not ashamed to have a mental illness. I lost my brother-in-law to mental illness. And so I talk about it wherever I can. And for me, being home was the best place to be while I was doing some therapy. And I'm if any of you have an issue like that, get help, go to your appointments. I was listening to Poshmark podcasts, videos on my way to my appointments. Do what you have to do to get well. I think that Poshmark, along with other online selling, Poshmark is great for people who need that income, but also what we were talking about a minute ago, the social aspect of it, I feel like can be very, very nice. When I sold on eBay all those years ago, way back when my kids were babies, eBay didn't have, or at least I wasn't involved with any kind of a social interaction. That kind of to me has been like a huge bonus of Poshmark. I actually like sharing other people's things because I can see what are they selling? How much does it cost? I feel like I'm not alone. I feel, every couple days, maybe once a week, you get that love note that really like cheers you up. And for me, it's a very positive and uplifting experience. And that's why I love sharing about it. And I've gotten some friends to join, and I like being on Instagram to promote it. And it's just been a really positive experience for me. So.
That's awesome. So I want to take a quick minute to say hello to some of our viewers before we jump back into the interview. So what's up, Daisy May? Hey, Vicky, Connie, how are you? Lisa Goldman, thanks for tuning in. Janet, Christine, Sue, Rhonda Dazzle Girl. What's up? Jessica, how you doing? Chad, hey, how are you?
You're going faster than
I am, aren't I? Donna, how you doing? Jennifer Howe. Jennifer Howe says you look like Sarah Paulson, Leigh.
Oh. Yeah, it's funny. We were in Hollywood a couple of weeks ago, and with my kids, and my son was very starstruck, and my daughter. It was fun walking around, and I kept my eyes peeled for any movie stars, but I didn't see anybody. So,
Mark, how are you? What's that?
Oh.
Jania's creation. Hey, Jania. Our closets are Pink Flamingo BTQ and Posh_Penguin. Do we have some questions here that came out?
No, just a lot of comments and people have been leaving their closet names. That's
Awesome.
great. Always leave your closet name. We should all follow each other.
Definitely. And Leigh, what's your closet name?
it's Style Solstice, STYLESOLSTICE. And on Instagram, it's the same exact thing, except there's it was taken on Instagram. So there's an underscore between the style and the solstice. And it's just a random name. My husband just randomly texted me like 5 names, and that one just jumped out to me. I like the sun and summer, and I thought that's cool. That's cool.
Awesome.
Instagram, yeah, it didn't like the Thrifty Flamingo.
Yeah.
So guys, we're gonna do a Q&A tonight too, towards the end. So if you have questions for Leigh or for us, just hold off until we get to the Q&A section, and then just throw them all off all at once, and we'll go through that. It's gonna be a lot easier keeping up with the chat that way. If you have comments, just throw them in the chat. Karen's monitoring the chat tonight on the phone, so she'll be looking down a little bit. So we're gonna jump right back into the interview. So how did you get started with reselling, Leigh?
It's a really funny story from like 100 years ago. I sold Mary Kay when my daughter was born. I was the basic new mom who wanted to stay home with their daughter, and I sold Mary Kay, which I have a makeup background. I was a makeup artist in the 90s. I know that's how old I am. So I loved doing Mary Kay, but it was time for me to stop doing Mary Kay, and it was 2006. And I didn't need I was able to send my inventory back to the company. That wasn't a big deal. But I had won all these prizes, and they were very desirable apparently in the Mary Kay world. And so I won this like pink dual coffee maker. I won like all this jewelry and jackets and bling bling. And I saved a lot of it because it's just priceless, But I had so much, and I started selling it on eBay, and I was getting like hundreds of dollars for this stuff. And I was like, wow. This is awesome. And I made more money getting out of Mary Kay than I did because I did it for, I did it to get out of the house, and you know how it is when the kids are tiny. Sometimes it was like in between when sometimes I would work full time and depending on my husband's schedule, and sometimes I would work part-time and then do something like that to fill in. And I got the idea because I love thrift shopping, and I thought that shoes would be something easy and manageable. And I love shoes. I love thrift shopping for shoes. Shoes have always been something I haven't minded spending a little bit more money on. I'm a really cheapo jeans and t-shirt person besides that. So I would clean up shoes. I would buy like the cheapest, most beat up ones from Salvation Army, and then clean them up and resell them on eBay. And also books. One time I found my husband found actually Ernest Hemingway first edition, and we sold that. And we did mostly eBay and just stuff we had around the house. And sometimes I would source the shoes and things, but I didn't source a lot. Really a family of 4, you're going to just have stuff to sell a lot as a hobby seller. So that's how I got started with reselling. And then that was that. And I really only sold on eBay a few times a year. I get maybe 10 items together and sell it. I started having more problems even before I quit working with eBay. I would sell something, and then it would get like, I sold an American Girl doll, and I described it really clearly. And then this lady was upset because it was used. I was like, well, yeah, I said it was, but it just seemed like, I don't know, like I just got tired of like people, everything. They always ruled in my favor, but I got tired of like, the credit card issues with PayPal and the eBay. I still will sell stuff on eBay, but it was just like, this is not what I want to do for a full-time thing.
Yeah.
Because I just don't need the aggravation. And then when I started looking online about eBay after I quit my job in February, people were saying like now there's an even longer period of time people can return stuff. And I still sold stuff on eBay.
eBay's been going nuts lately with all the changes they've been making. It's just it's getting out of hand with the returns and all that. I think that's why a lot of people are switching over to other avenues of reselling right now and expanding their business. So it really has been a different situation on eBay as of late, and it's showing now. So
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll straighten it out. And I still like selling other things on eBay. I have a bunch of stuff in my garage I'm going to be selling. Even the next couple weeks, I'm going to try to sell and get out of my house. But it just as far as being something that's really like for me, I think the Poshmark suits my personality more. I'm not a millennial. I'm firmly in the Generation X category. So it's really, I'll have to say, because I know with your course has helped me with, and other people have helped me with, is that like for me, my kids will say, "Mom, that's so 2012," and I'm like, "What, last year?" Like it's all one big blur. Like I don't know. Like I was somebody who just bought my clothes at thrift stores, and the clothes I bought at the thrift store were Walmart and Old Navy brands. So I'm just not a fancy person, and I've enjoyed learning more about style, learning more about fashion, and why not? I mean, why not stay young and learn fun new stuff?
Sure.
And that's another thing I like about Poshmark. But it's been a real learning process for me, for sure.
So, what kind of items when you go out sourcing do you look for? What kind of brands and styles are you looking for when you source?
I've learned. I'm still not extremely familiar with a lot of the higher end things. I do look for things I know that I've started to look for things I know I can list for over $30. I kind of set that as like my new, just to be worth my time. If you look in my Poshmark closet, you'll see tons of cheaper stuff. It's because a lot of that was my own things, or my daughter's 16 and she has a lot of clothes, and she likes to overturn her wardrobe and go back to the bins for more. And she is the pro at shopping, at thrift shopping. When I can take her with me, she really helps me a lot. But anyway, get back to what you're saying. I think I would go straight for the shoes probably still first. I do love to find even the kind of comfort shoes that really would sell well on eBay, like Nine West and Clark's, I feel like sell well. Aerosols, I sell a lot of the aerosol shoes. I think that's popular around here where I live. I have so many thrift stores around here. I have 2 on my street. I feel like knowing what you're looking for is almost more important than where you go. And I'm starting to find better jeans at our Salvation Army and Goodwill. I want to learn more about brands. And as I learn more about brands, I'll definitely branch out. And I do like to do, we have a few outlet stores near me that are, and I've started doing retail arbitrage. And I like that a lot too. I'd like to go in that direction too. So yeah,
retail arbitrage is a great way to make some extra money, especially on Poshmark. So
on her street.
I know, that's crazy, right?
I kid you not. I kid you not. And I have I met at a Posh and Sip in Philadelphia. I met a posher who lives on my street, who is very active and very, very. She's been on the app a long time. And anyway, the thrift shop I worked at is like 20 minutes away. I never even really go there much. I have Salvation Army's 15 minutes away. There's 2 Goodwills, including a bin one. There's the bin store I used to work at. There's 5 other ones there. There's 2 on my street. There's probably 5 in Doylestown. Like there's so many choices. So I think I think it's more in the future, I'd really like to get involved with like wholesale, more the retail arbitrage route. I think I like thrifting for myself, but I think I'd like to get more into selling the tag stuff, just because I do like the easiness of it, and I think it's fun. I don't know why I think it's so fun, but I do. It's fun.
We have a question that just came in from Marcy Kennedy. I'm gonna just address that real quick, and maybe you can answer this one, Leigh. I know we can, but I think you can do it too. So I'm gonna throw it over to you. So what is retail arbitrage?
Oh, it's when you buy something at a store, not at a thrift store. So you're buying something for the first time it's offered for customers, and then you're flipping it around and selling it. So it would be new with tags, and that it's for example, buy a dress for $1 at. We have Gabe's in my town. Buy a dress for $1. It's a retails at over 80. Sell it for 40. That's kind of the idea. I'd like to do more of that. People do it online, and I think there's a module in the
there's a section on Poshing for Profits. We talk about retail arbitrage
and
online as part of the viable sourcing.
We talk about different ways to source because everybody's area is different. I mean, you have 2 thrift stores on your street. Some people live, like a different county away from like the one thrift store near them. So there's different ways that you can get inventory. So we try to cover that.
Yeah.
We mix that up. We do retail arbitrage, not as much. We do love the thrift because the profit margin's bigger. when you go to the thrift store, especially when you go to the bins.
Yep.
You know, when you go to like wholesale thrift stores like that, your profit margins are so much greater, and that's what we're all about.
But yeah, retail arbitrage is a great way to make some money and get that new tags items into your stores, and that stuff sells so fast. So it's a great thing to do. So you said you started Poshmark back in February, right?
Yeah, I went back and looked. I listed my first item February 19th, and I think it sold on the 21st. And it was a sweater that I had in my closet forever. Oh, I didn't tell you. I think a month before I quit my job, my closet broke because I had so many clothes. Like my actual thing.
Actually happened to us too. So
like, I have a walk-in closet. Like it
went boom,
fell off the wall. The bolts came out of the wall, and it fell on me.
That's when you know you need to sell your own clothes when your closet's like, I can't deal with
any of you, if your closet falls down, if you're then you need to get on Poshmark.
Yes, that's a sign from above.
So you've been on Poshmark for like 6 months about, huh?
Yeah, just about. And I did take I took a good 3 weeks off for my trip recently.
Yeah.
And so I absolutely I'm just kind of getting started back up again now.
Right.
And I really want to get going.
So and you said you sell on eBay as well. How long have you been on eBay for?
I think I joined eBay 2004.
Okay,
and
so quite some time on eBay.
Yeah. And back then, I think it did kind of have that friendly feel. I feel like I used to have like conversations with people, and there was a nasty person once in a while too. And I think that that was, upsetting sometimes, but it definitely, I think, well, things changed. I think there's a lot more on there, and maybe they're going in a different direction, which is fine. I don't expect everybody to be like me. I'm a friendly person. I judge my day by like how many friendly people I get to talk to or interact with. Not everybody's like that. I'm just not an all business kind of person. So I enjoy Poshmark, and I feel like I brought things from eBay that were strengths into Poshmark. And I felt like I had things to learn that were different than eBay. And I feel like
her closet, Ava, is Style Solstice, and you spell that STOLICE.
It's SOL.
Oh, SO. I can spell.
Yeah.
SOLICE.
STICE. Yeah.
It's Style. So it's Style Solstice.
Yeah, it's all one word.
You want to type that into the chat here?
Someone just did.
Oh, perfect. Somebody just typed it in there, so we're good to go.
Before I even got to it.
So everybody, go check her closet out. Let's see, what do I have up here? How many followers have you gotten since February on Poshmark?
I'm a few hundred away from 40,000.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
And what are you doing to get those followers? What are you doing to get you such great results?
You know what? I don't mass follow. I've kind of do my own thing, which is as part of the 30-minute method. I don't do exactly that. When I do the 30-minute method, after I list my 3 items, or sometimes I do 5 items if I can, or relist, then I go in and I go under Find People, and I follow the ambassadors that are suggested, like maybe 3 or 4 times. I refresh it maybe 3 or 4 times and follow them. And then I'll follow maybe, 20, 30 new closets. And then I feel like those are the people that are actually online and seeing it as I'm doing it. So then they'll actually be on the app, and I'm assuming that's what those people are. And then I also like to go into the party. And I think as part of the 30-minute method, when you go into the party and share 30 listings of other people, I feel like those people almost always follow me, because they'll come and they'll look and they'll share one from my closet and they'll follow. And I've started to share from the feed more to get the followers. And I really do feel like that. I feel like sharing helps me get followers. I feel like people come back, they click on me, they look in my closet, they share one or 2 things, and then they follow me. And so I feel like it's a combination, but just the consistency. And once I became a Posh ambassador, which I did pretty quickly, it wasn't quite 30 days, but it wasn't much more than 30 days. After I became a Posh ambassador, I felt like I just got a steady like 200 a day. Then at that point, it really exponentially. And even when I was on my trip,
helps.
I wasn't doing anything for. Several of the days I did nothing, and I was still getting plenty of followers from being an ambassador. I think so. It's definitely worth being an ambassador for that reason.
So we have a question from Jessica Furman. What site did you see a bigger profit on, eBay or Poshmark?
It's hard to compare because for clothing, definitely Poshmark. Definitely. I remember I used to get so excited if I made, on shoes, I'd get so excited if I made over $15 on a pair of shoes on eBay. Whereas, for example, today on Poshmark, I could sell a pair of shoes and easily profit $20 that really probably, I don't know, I feel like Poshmark people are looking for a deal, but they're not looking for stuff for nothing.
Right.
I feel like on eBay, people kind of, which is fine, but people are kind of looking for like dirt cheap. Whereas on Poshmark, I feel like maybe it was their favorite shoes and now they don't have them anymore and they want to get them again, which is one of the ways I shop. It's like, okay, like what were the name of those jeans that actually fit me? I'll look for this. So definitely for clothing, Poshmark by far.
Yeah, that's what we feel as well.
We think there's like a higher perceived value.
There's definitely a higher perceived value
for clothing.
I look at eBay almost as like an online garage sale where you can make a little bit more money than garage sale pricing, but it's along those lines. And Poshmark is kind of like a store putting their things on deep discount, but you're still making more profit on those discounted items than you would be on eBay, selling it like a garage sale kind of perspective. That's the kind of way I look at both sites in terms of profit.
Yeah. I still sell electronics when my kids grow out of things. Like we still sell our things on there. I'll be selling a lot of toys on there here in the next month that my kids have grown out of. We were talking before we started. I need to declutter my walk-in Christmas closet from working at a thrift store. I accumulated a lot. I love antique Christmas things, vintage Christmas things. So I'm going to sell a majority of that stuff on eBay here in the next month or two. So, it's definitely still a legitimate way to sell household items. It's just that for clothing for millennials, I think Poshmark is just, the way to go. But having said that, I feel like I sell plenty of clothes that are more to my age group as well. Even brands that people think, like I know the New York and the Jones New York, like even that. So.
Yeah. So we have another question that came in. From Ava.
She wants to know, does she use a special app to edit the photos because they are amazing? Emojis.
Thanks. That's so nice. I was using Snapseed a lot. Always making sure though that the color isn't distorted with whatever magic you're trying to do. Really just using the exposure. I really just try to lighten it and really not try to alter it in any other way. I found though, I have an iPhone 7 Plus, and I found that the tools in the editing, I found in the last month or two, those tools are really good too. If you need to really cut in and get rid of something that is in the photo, then the Snapseed I think is better. But I'm a keep it simple person, and I just pretty much stick with Snapseed and then the Apple app itself. If you adjust the shadows and the exposure in the iPhone, you should be pretty good to go.
So guys, for those of you that have tuned in recently and you're wondering what's going on, we're speaking with Leigh Henry. She's one of our Poshing for Profit students, and she's been having some really good success on Poshmark lately. So we figured we'd bring her on and just give a quick interview and ask her a few questions and learn a little more about how she's been finding success on Poshmark.
You have a lot of people agreeing with you too, saying Posh is better for selling clothing, as we agree as well.
So if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up and hit that like button for us. YouTube loves when you guys do that, and we do too. We really appreciate it. If you're new here, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we put content like this out all the time, from interviews to Q&As to we go live on Mondays and Fridays, and we love Poshmark. So don't forget to subscribe. So great. Back to Leigh. So so you have about 40,000 followers right now. How many listings do you have active at any given time?
I have about 400 active. Keeping in mind, again, a lot of those things are smaller items that I just needed to get rid of, like belts, jewelry. Because when I had too many clothes, I had too much of every kind of thing, hats, you name it. So I have quite a few items still that are under $15, I would say, like a belt, a hat, things like that. Again, I'm trying to get my average price higher, but so I'm really looking to as I sell through some of the less expensive items, I'm looking to source better, better items to get that higher price point. But yeah, I definitely saw somewhat of a surge too, going to the 400 listings. I know that's kind of the lore, the myth that's out there. And
no, it's definitely been proven that way, that the more listings you have and those certain benchmarks that you hit, the better results you're going to get. So,
and listing every day.
Listing every day is definitely key.
Now you went on vacation mode, right?
I did. Oh yeah, I was on full on vacation mode. I mean, for a full 2.5 weeks, or more, I was completely on vacation mode, and I really only got on the app maybe 3 sessions that whole time, because I was on the road in a van with my kids all around the country. So it was so fun. But yeah, I really shut it down. Yeah.
And when you came off vacation mode, did you get right back into things? Like, did
it was not bad. I don't think there was anything wrong with Poshmark. I think there was something wrong with me because I was exhausted. I kind of got a slow start back in, but I would say, I mean, for the hours that I worked last week, I'm very happy with the money I made. I had sales every day last week. And actually I was a little slower this weekend. I was busy this weekend and I probably didn't do everything I should. Being here on the Eastern time zone and being of a certain age, it's a lot easier to fall asleep at 10 than it is to join the party. So there's times when that happens. But yeah, for the hours I spent this week, I don't think my sales were suffering at all. I got sales every day, so I can't complain.
Excellent. So we have another question that came in from Rhonda Dazzle Girl, and I'm going to ask this to you, and then me and Karen will talk a little bit about it as well. But was it hard for you to get started on Poshmark? She wants to start on Poshmark, but she doesn't quite know what she's doing, and she feels a little apprehensive about started and intimidated. Yeah. So why don't you let us know how easy or how hard it was for you to get started on Poshmark?
It was easy. I think you have to be comfortable that like your first 10, 15 listings aren't going to look like, perfect. I think there's a different standard on Poshmark than there is on eBay. Yeah. And my first listings looked like eBay listings. I mean, they had great keywords and my photographs showed the items and nothing more, all the eBay things that you kind of just get drilled into you.
Right.
But I had a lot to learn as far as what I wanted going forward with that. And I still keep my photos pretty simple. But I sometimes do, I'll sometimes model something. I like to keep it fun too. I'll sometimes model something. I'll sometimes do that. But yeah, I would say that it was easy to get started. It was easy to start making money. I think my own things from my closet sold pretty well at first because they were things that, I liked that were, but they were mall brands, they weren't anything special. I think my first thing was White House Black Market. And the second thing was Gap. So it's nothing spectacular or horribly exciting, but yeah, I mean, if you're comfortable, you have to be comfortable that it's not going to be perfect right out of the chute, but I think you could make money. I think you can make money your first week if you've already been doing it on eBay, especially.
Definitely.
My first pictures, I used a red sheet.
Red sheet. I remember those pictures. Yeah.
Because I had no wall. Like our tiny little condo, we liked to decorate. So there was not one little bit of area that wasn't covered in something. And I had to hang a sheet up over my closet. And it was just oh my goodness. They still sold. Yeah. But your photos will get better. Everything will get better.
Definitely. So Rhonda Dazzle, to answer your question too, we didn't really have fears or apprehensions when we got started.
I just did.
Apprehensions. Yeah, we just did it. I think that when we went full time, that was when we started to have a little bit of apprehensive feelings or fear, because we weren't sure, if we were going to be able to sustain income doing this on a daily basis. And it's really been working like a charm. So the best thing to do is just jump right in and start now and start it part-time. And as you grow further and further into reselling, you'll be able to transition.
You're going to learn.
If you want to.
You're going to get better. You're going to get better at every aspect of it. Anything you do in life when you first start it, you're not good at it. You're not comfortable with it, no matter what it is in life, but the more you do it and the more you use the app, you're going to know it like the back of your hand in a month or two, watch these videos, and let's learn, and you're going to get better at everything. That's what we do.
Right. We also, now, if you are a little apprehensive or you're still fearing that and you want that jump start for Poshmark, we do have that course available. It's the first link in the description tonight. Take you right to Poshing for Profits. You get to check it out. It's a comprehensive course on how to make a full-time living working part-time hours on Poshmark. We cover everything from sourcing to photography to listing to sharing to parties to just everything about Poshmark in that course. And we're going to talk with Leigh a little bit about that course in a second. But it's a great resource for you guys that aren't quite so adept at Poshmark yet. It'll definitely have you poshing like a pro in no time. So check it out. It's the first link in the description. Go check that course out if you haven't already. So Leigh, how many sales do you average a week right now?
It's I want to say, I mean, I've like 2 or 3. I usually get 2 or 3 a day. So times 7. I mean, I would say I could probably get like 20 a week. Now I'm still selling a lot of my own things that were like, you know, Ann Taylor Loft, even some Old Navy stuff. So it's not really high price points as I'm selling through. But if I have a day where I sell one of my newer items that are higher price, that definitely shoots my sales up for the day. And I'm looking forward to more of that in the future. But yeah, I would say becoming a Poshmark ambassador, listing something every day, and you know, really gets you those. And that 400 listings is a really good goal. Although I know people who do really well with a smaller, but those people like really know what they're doing. For somebody like me, and you're trying to clean out your closets and it maybe isn't the best stuff in the world, I think it's probably better to have quantity. If you don't have the quality, maybe get more of the quantity, because it's been working for me. So
quantity over quality.
I'm going to answer a question real quick from Varisha Osby. So parameters that we set when we went full time, we basically looked at our finances and we wanted to make sure that 1, we could pay our bills and have our bills covered per month.
Roof over the head.
2, that we could be able to source on a semi-daily basis and make sure we have product and money to reinvest. And 3, that we wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of money left over at the end of the month to put into savings. So if we hit all 3 of those consistently for 6 months, that's when we decided to go full time. And it was also at that point that we realized Karen was making almost double what she was making at her old job working on Poshmark. Yeah. So that helped too.
When I did my taxes the first year that I did Poshmark, like as like a mental seriousness. I've been at Poshmark since 2013, but I didn't really like go like head on and go, oh my goodness, this is a business for like quite some time after that. But when that first year, I did my taxes for both jobs, and I doubled what I made working for somebody else. Like, why would I work for somebody else and waste time there to make half amount of money?
So, Leigh, we have a question for you now too. Are you full-time Posher right now, or do you have a job, or
I am a full-time because I'm not doing anything else. I'm not making the full-time money I'd like to make yet. I'm part-time, part-time looking to go full-time. I kind of am in a like do or die situation, not die, but I want to be making, I have a figure in my head of what I want to be making a week. And if I'm doing that in September, then I may just stick with Poshmark and the occasional eBay. If I'm still a little short, or I might go get a part-time job just to fill in a little bit. And because I like to be around people, so it really wouldn't be the end of the world for me to do a little bit of here and there. I can do a little bit of that. But I am in the position, my husband and I, we've always lived pretty modestly, so I don't need to make a ton of money. But I definitely, like you said, can you pay your part of the bills? Are you going forward rather than backward? Do you have enough for sourcing? Those are the things that I'll be looking at.
Exactly.
I actually am getting help too. Before I think in August, I'll probably have a friend, like we talked about, look over, that knows about such things, look over some of my numbers and see what, just kind of get some outside opinions. But I might possibly get a part-time job anyway, just because I feel like getting up, getting out of the house sometimes can actually help me have more energy because I am a people person. So I'm just kind of keeping that in mind. But yeah, I mean, I want to be making a full-time income by September is my goal.
Awesome. So let me see, what was I going to ask?
I can't read handwriting.
So you are one of our students in Poshing for Profits. Why don't you talk a little bit about your experience with the course and what you've learned from it? What's really changed the way that you look and work on Poshmark, and what did you take away from the course so far?
Looking over, it is very detailed, which I appreciated. It was a way to, even though I was kind of already in the thick of it, by the time I got the course, I was already plowing pretty hard there. I was able to go back and make sure that some of the details of what I was doing I were right. There's very detailed information about getting started. They don't, Jay and Karen don't expect that you know anything about it, and then they really take it from scratch, which is cool. And I kind of use that opportunity to just kind of go back and skim over and say, okay, did I do that right? Did I do that right? Even in the choosing the Poshmark name, that's when I changed my name. I had my old eBay name before, which was kind of not stylish. So not as stylish and sleek. So things like that. I appreciated, just going over things like when I wanted to decide what I wanted to do with lighting, there was a lesson about, do I want a mannequin? Do I want to do hanger shots? Do I want to do flat lays? All the details about sourcing. I'm not a yard sale person. I don't carry cash. I don't know. It's just not me. But I actually have been trying, and I went to a yard sale in the Hollywood Hills a couple weeks ago, and I bought a few things right near Rodeo Drive, which was really fun. And so they'll be in my Poshmark closet soon, and just to stretch myself in the ways that I wouldn't have review. Things that I actually was surprised I learned some cleaning tips that I didn't know, which I thought working at the thrift store and being a lifelong thrifter that I would know. But and I was a sewer. I was a person who sewed as well when I was a teenager more. That was a long time ago. So I did kind of come at it with some knowledge, but I still learned a lot from the cleaning advice. And there's a lot in there for the inventory system was very helpful. I was right to the point where I was starting to need to think about what to do. And I don't do exactly what you guys do, but I definitely needed to. It was definitely a time where I needed to start looking at that. So those are just some of the things. I think just knowing that the Facebook group was is a big help. I think enjoying the social aspect, having questions, seeing what other people have done, getting, you can ask questions on Facebook, but knowing that you're going to actually get the right answers is a good thing. So those are some of the things I've enjoyed about it. I think it's good to, take your business seriously if you're going to seriously do this and you want to get information. For me, the censure was to want to really hear what you guys had to say, is that I felt like our goals were similar, where I felt like the dollar amount was similar that I wanted to make. I felt like my situation was kind of similar as far as I had resold part-time, and now I'm looking to do something, scale it up a little bit. And I thought it was what I was, kind of what I was looking for.
Awesome. That. So I got a couple of questions in the chat for you. How many listings would be the minimum you list a day? And it's different for everyone. So what is your minimum number that you hit per day?
The 30-minute method, the 3. And the last couple of days for me, it's been relisting because I'm trying to figure out my new lighting system, and I'm a little overwhelmed. and I've told myself, you know what? It's fine. I'm going to take a breath, take a break. The clothes will all be there. The death pile will be there when I am done this. So I've still been taking a half hour and making sure I do the 30-minute method, besides sharing my closet throughout the day. And I've been fiddling with moving in my office, figuring out where the best place to take the pictures is going to be, and with my new lighting kit. So I've been focusing on that. So I've been doing the relisting, and it does the trick. So
that does the same thing as making a listing. So it's perfect. That's all you got to do. So now I think Christian's asking this to us, but we'll throw it out there to you as well, Leigh. So she's her question is, what does your life look like on a daily basis as far as how much time spent sourcing, poshing, shipping, and listing, etc.? So I'll let you answer that first, and then we'll go ahead and answer that.
I'm kind of neurotic about shipping right away, and I don't trust where I live / the postal service right at the moment. We have a temporary, we don't have a regular delivery person. So when we get one, I'll be more, so I'm going to the post office every day, but it's right down the street from me. So every morning I start out by printing out my receipts. I don't have a label printer yet, so I have to print them, cut them, tape them, that whole thing, and then take them to the post office. It's usually just a couple boxes. And then I sometimes it's hard to resist the lure of the thrift store as I'm, as I literally almost passed one on the way to the post office. So, but no, right now I have plenty to list of what I've sourced. I sourced some on vacation, and I have some of my own things. My daughter cleaned out her closet, so I have a pile right over here to list. So I won't be going to the thrift store this week. I spend some time in the morning. I try to share my whole closet in the morning. I know people don't talk about that a lot, but I feel like it really helps to like.
That's key. That's definitely
up,
Poshmark. Yeah.
Yeah, and then throughout the day, I know it sounds funny, but I mean, I have a lot of responsibilities. I'm going in a million directions. If I think of it and I have my phone in my hand, I'll go in my closet and share 10 things, and then share somebody else's 10 things, and then follow a few ambassadors on the Find People thing. I'll just do, if I have it takes 3 minutes, and I'll do that throughout the day. And then I try to spend some dedicated time. This week, I'll just say to myself, okay, I'm going to spend an hour and a half in my office trying to see what the best lighting setup would be with the mannequin. And then today I'm seeing the lighting setup with the hanger. So today's been a little different, but I was telling Jay before we came on, my goal, I really want to get to where I'm working 4 hours a day on my Poshmark business. And I'd like it to be in the mornings. I'm a morning person. Right. And my kids will be going to school in the fall again. So I'd kind of like to see my kids off to school, come down here to the office, just get it done. Sourcing to me is pleasure and a way of life. And I know I have gone even this week to thrift store to shop for myself. And I did go to a department store that was closing. The prices weren't good enough for reselling, but I was shopping for myself. So I shop secondhand for myself constantly. And even weeks I'm not sourcing for the business, I'd be looking for things for my kids and for myself. So sourcing, I kind of don't count, but that's what it's looked like. I feel like the better you get with photography, the less time that takes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Listings gotten a lot faster. Sometimes I sit in my bed and do it. I knew a CEO, and that was her advice to me. She said, this was years ago, she said, whenever you can, work in bed. That was her big event. And so I get the pillows propped up.
Perfect.
And I can work a little bit in bed, and that is just perfect.
So for us, it's pretty much,
it depends on what needs to be done that day. Shipping happens every day besides Sunday.
Yep.
Sunday we still pull from the weekend. So by Monday, because Monday's always the biggest shipping day, because you have, noon on from Saturday, whatever sold then, and Sunday. So and then Monday morning. So we pull on Sunday, but we don't ship until Monday. But shipping happens every day, and then it depends on did we just source? And if we did just source, it's going to be a day of photography,
right,
a day of drafting, and sharing. We share every morning, no matter what we have to do that day. We share 3 to 4 times a day.
And we source between 2 and 4 times a week. So,
and when the piles start getting smaller, that's when we try. The summer's been a little weird for us. We used to try to source more in the beginning of the week, like a Monday and a Wednesday, and then so we'd be able to spread out our listings throughout the week. And as summer happens, you get a lot more activities with family and, barbecues and summer activities, which happen more on the weekend. And, but it still happens every day. We know what we have to do when we wake up, depending on what yesterday was. So we pretty much, I hope that answered it. But well, how long do we stay in my studio? Maybe 2 hours.
2 hours.
If I went sourcing the day before, I'll stay in my studio for 2 hours. I'll take as many photos and measurements as I can. And that's going to be listing for me for the next couple days, 2 to 3 days. And I will sit there at night and I'll start batching out, on my notes section in my iPad, the descriptions, and then I can just make a listing whenever I feel like, because we try to do 5 a day. Some days it hasn't been as easy with morning sickness and all that, not even in the morning. But yeah.
So, Leigh, I know you just went on vacation. We have a question that came in here, and maybe you can answer this. We'll definitely try to answer it as well. But what do you recommend we do? The question is, what do you recommend we do so we don't lose momentum while on vacation? Are others still able to share our closets, and do we continue to list?
My vacation was so long that I just shut it down. I thought maybe I would do more sharing, following, etc., but everything we were seeing on this in the road trip was so pretty that I just wanted to look at it and enjoy the moment. And I knew it would all be there when I got back. And I had heard other people that it's not a big deal.
It really isn't. And people,
it's different than eBay.
Yeah, people worry too much about this because they're used to the eBay mentality where it takes some time to pick up if you change that vacation mode. With Poshmark, it's really people can still see your listings while you're on vacation. Other people can still share your stuff. You can still share your own stuff, and you can still list. You just can't sell while you're on vacation mode. So it's really, if you're sharing, even if you can find time to share maybe 20 minutes a day on vacation or whatever, you're going to be able to come right back off from vacation and pick up right where you left off. You should have no problem losing out on any sales or anything like that. It's just a question of what you're willing to put into it while you're on vacation. I know vacation is a time for rest and relaxation. So, but you can definitely, work as little or as much as possible, and you'll still get good results when you come off vacation mode after that. Even if you haven't done anything at all, you're still going to come back to a pretty steady return.
But I get it. When you get back from vacation, you're all maxed and relaxed, and you're in that like relaxed state of mind, and you're like, oh, got to get back to work. And when work is for yourself and you don't have a boss hounding over you saying, okay, time to clock in, go do this, this, and that. And you're the one saying that. And you're still in that like, let me just go sit outside a little more. That can be the hardest part to overcome is kicking your own butt into gear.
So Leigh, we have a question for you that came in as well from Vicky Packham. How do you get the pure white background for your photos?
There's on the Snapseed app. I do it on the iPhone now. I use better lighting, and I on the iPhone I adjust the shadows first, and then I adjust the exposure, and then I always double check that it hasn't changed the color of the item. And then when I was doing it on Snapseed more, there's a trick especially if your item's dark, like black items, I know they're hard to show up right. You see if I can get it right. On Snapseed, you pull up your picture, you hit the brush function in the tools, and then you click it up to +10, you brush it over the whole picture, and then you save it, and then you go back and you do -10 just over your item. And what it'll do is make your item look normal, but it makes the background whiter. I was having to do that so much, though, that I went ahead and invested in a lighting kit because I was spending way too much time editing. And I did my part-time job. I could edit a little bit on the job. But when I stopped working outside of the home and I was just doing Poshmark, I want to spend my time listing. I want to spend my time doing other things, not editing. I would say just keep it. Try to set yourself up so you don't have to do so much editing is what I would suggest.
That makes sense. So Snapseed, it sounds like, is the app that she's using that she's having really good results with. And her iPhone as well, yeah.
I had an iPhone 6 Plus, and you change like the exposure, you hold it down, you can drag up to change the exposure. I then went to an 8 Plus, 8S, whatever, bigger, same thing. It's weird. When I change the exposure and I take the picture as I see it on the screen, it doesn't save that way in my camera roll. So I don't get it. There's supposed to be better cameras every generation. If anyone else has this problem with the 8s, I feel you, because I was really used to like barely having to edit because I was getting really good at like exposure and like knowing when to, okay, the color's starting to change on the item, stop it right there. Don't take away from the item, now I can't do it as much.
So, guys, if you have tuned in recently and you haven't been here all night, we're talking with Leigh Henry. She's a student of ours with Poshing for Profits. Poshing for Profits is our comprehensive guide on how to Poshmark how to do Poshmark and earn a full-time living working part-time hours through Poshmark. There's a link in the description. It's the first link in the description. It'll take you right over to that course if you guys want to check that out. It's on sale. You can get in for as little as $47 tonight with the payment plan. And we have a private Facebook group, which Leigh talked a little bit about. That's tell them how valuable that Facebook group really is. Leigh.
Oh, I try, the information is great. Being able to ask a question is great, but I feel really strongly that if you're going to do a job and you're going to work hard, you should enjoy the good things about that job. And I think that for me, I allow myself a little bit of time each day for social media. I'm not on there all day.
Right.
I do like to check my Facebook groups, and then I like to spend a little bit of time. I try to post on Instagram every day, and I like to see people's posts. And if somebody will post like, "Oh, I'm a Poshmark ambassador," like, go ahead and hit the like. Encourage people. You get what you give. And I like to go to Posh and Sips. I got to go to one in Philadelphia, and I met a posher that lives on my street, and it was an amazing event. And I got to see some of the same people again then in New York, where I got to see you guys too. And what a great night for what were our tickets, $10. I mean, it was great, a great event. I think going to events like I'm going to Posh Fest. But yeah, the Facebook group, just to have and give and get support, it's like why not? Because I know at the event in New York, the founder of Poshmark said, we're not in competition with each other. We're really not. We're not selling the same things.
Yep.
We're not the same. We don't run our businesses the same way. We don't have the same goals. So why not help each other out? Why not have fun with it? And, I love if I know on the Facebook group, if I know an answer to a question, if it's more complicated, I'll wait for, Jay and Karen or somebody else who's been in it longer than me. But if it's something that's simple, like, why not answer it? Somebody was there to answer my questions, It's the way, you get back what you give. And it's nice. It's encouraging. And there's a few people on there that really know, that know a lot. So it's fun.
So,
yeah, I have quite a few PFFs that I've met in real life. Posh and Sips in the state of Connecticut. We became really tight. We're going Posh Fest together. But yeah, they're in the group, and they help answer these questions too, because me and Jay can't be there 24/7.
Yeah.
So there are experienced Poshers in the group, which is
it's a
really
positive.
helpful. But everybody has their own knowledge, no matter how long you've been on Poshmark. You might have encountered something, early on and know the answer to something, and someone's like spazzing out over it. And you might have that little gem that like helps them, and you just put it in the comments and you just help somebody. And one day they're going to help you.
So Rhonda Dazzle Girl has a question. Are there any description words that you cannot use on Poshmark? eBay has that, which stinks. I have
not come across any. I know what you're talking about. Like, you can't say Velcro. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever used Velcro on Poshmark or stuff like that, but I haven't had anything.
Yeah, we haven't had any problems or anything like that. So I don't think they really have restrictions on keywords or anything like that.
Yeah, I have never had a problem since 2013.
Elisa Goldman has a question for you, Leigh. What is the name of the Posh and Sip in Philly on Facebook?
Oh, I forget. I can look.
If you want to throw it in the comments of this video later on, that would be perfect.
I can in the comments later.
That'd be perfect.
There's not one. There's a bunch of people that have done them, and I think the people who are planning on the next one are different than the ones who did the last one. But we have a great. I'm sure every city has a lot of great. Postures.
Yeah. So Cass Richardson asks, do I need an app if I will be using my computer for Poshmark? No, you can do everything on Poshmark from your computer, or you can do everything on Poshmark from the app on your phone or tablet, or you can both. Combine them and do both. So,
we prefer the app because you get push notifications. You get a sale the second you get a sale. You know, you don't have to sign onto your computer or like open up your email. We always have our phones on us, so I can list on the go. I can list in the car. I can list at the beach. But just because we prefer the app doesn't mean. I know a lot of people like the computer. We still list on the computer sometimes. But it's whatever's there, right?
So Christian Sanders wants to know, how do you find people hosting Posh and Sips?
I found it on the Poshmark blog. I was kind of keeping my eye on it, and I didn't know anybody that was going, but it was a wonderful experience. The girl I sat next to on the one side was so sweet, and I'm still in contact with her. The other person that I sat next to was Deneen, and she was in New York, and she's a very positive person. What special people to meet, and other people too I'm still in contact with on Instagram, and just really nice people that I feel like I was very fortunate to meet. It was a great event.
When people sign up to be a Posh and Sip host on Poshmark, they email them. Poshmark says, make a listing in your closet promoting it. You'll see listings occasionally saying Posh and Sip, New Haven, Connecticut, or whatever, and a date. The Poshmark directs you to tag it Posh and Sip, and to put in the brand, you type it in Posh and Sip. So I guess if you go into Poshmark and type in like where you would search Abercrombie jeans, you would just type in Posh and Sip, and the most recent one would pop up. Obviously, it would be all Posh and Sips, like the ones that have expired. But that's one way you can actually search the app for. That's what Poshmark does. They say, make this listing. Me and Jay both had one in our closet. So the brand is Posh and Sip.
So Rhonda Dazzle, Posh and Sips are basically just a get together of people who are on Poshmark and people who want to get into Poshmark. You go and you network and you talk with fellow Poshers. You talk with, you explain the apps. You just talk about everything Poshmark basically at a Posh and Sip. And it's a small party. They're usually at restaurants or bars, or in some cases, people have them at their houses or at outside events or stuff like that. But they're a great time. They're a great resource for people who are looking to learn about Poshmark. And
they could be small. They could be 2 or 3 people.
Or they could be big.
Or they could be a big party.
So we are just about done here tonight, guys. If you have any other questions for Leigh that you want to ask her, she's been a great guest. Thank you so much for coming on, by the way, Leigh. This has been awesome.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been great.
You're very welcome.
Awesome.
So just throw your questions in the chat. We'll take a few more questions before we jump off. How do you host a Posh and Sip?
You email Poshmark. You email go into Google, type in Posh and Sip host. It'll come up with the exact blog article, and I think it's actually just Poshmark support. And you say, I want to be a Posh and Sip host, and they'll email you and they say, pick a date. And you tell them exactly when, and you have to tell them when, where. You have to have all kind of the details, because then they're going to say, okay, you said May 5th at this time at this place, because they're going to put it on their Poshmark blog, like Leigh was saying. So they need to have like the details. So you kind of have to figure a little bit out before, and then they're going to direct you to make the listing in your closet and to promote it on social media and show you the different Poshmark tags for the Posh and Sip, because then they are going to put it on their blog. So you just email them with the details.
So Sue S., how Poshmark determines their fee is pretty simple. They take a straight 20% for any item that sells over over $15. If it's under $15, they take $2.95. Thank you. So it's that simple, and you don't have to pay anything at the end of the month or in the middle of the month or whatever, like eBay. It's just taken right out of the listing, and you get the meat of the sale, and everything else is yours. So it's really that easy.
See, Gary's also in our Poshing for Profits. Gary always has these tidbits that I love talking to Gary. Gary says, I don't believe it's necessarily eBay or Poshmark who restricts trade names, i.e. Velcro, spandex, etc. As I understand, it's the corporations. There is a list available.
And Brenda wants Poshmark to have a cha-ching like eBay.
With the cash register sound.
So Leigh, before we leave, do you have anything else you'd like to say or anything like that?
I just would say, it's been a good opportunity for me. And, I'm thankful for Karen and Jay and other people on YouTube who make these videos, and for the course Karen and Jay put together. It's been a big help. And I guess I'm just a big, again, mental health person. Like, I think that, being involved with chats, being involved with Facebook groups, be involved with Instagram, be involved with, even on Poshmark, a word of encouragement to new Poshers. Welcome to Poshmark. Go to the events. If you go to Posh Fest, I'll see you there. I just think it's good to stay positive and enjoy the good things in life, because the hard things come and it's hard work, but, stay positive and work hard. So
awesome. So guys, if you are new to Poshmark, or you're just getting started and you want a little extra push, or you've been on for a little bit and you need some help, we do have a course called Poshing for Profits. Leigh's one of our students. We've been talking about it all night. It's the first link in the description. You can go check that course out. It has everything we cover on everything on Poshmark, from sourcing to photography to listing to sharing to wholesale to the ins and outs, inventory, everything you could possibly want to know is in that course. So check it out. It's the first link in the description. It's called Poshing for Profits. It's how to make a full-time living working part-time hours on Poshmark. It does come with a Facebook group, which Leigh is a part of, and we're part of as well. We're in there all the time answering your questions, commenting. Gary's in the Facebook group as well. So it's a great resource for you guys if you're looking for a way to get a leg up on Poshmark. So definitely click the first link in the description and give that a shot. You can get into the course for as little as $47 tonight with the payment plan. So we hope to see you guys out there. Leigh, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It was awesome.
Thank you so much. It was fun.
And you guys have a great night. We'll be back live on Friday with another video for you guys. And we're going to have a couple of videos coming up this week as well. So keep an eye out for those. And we will see you guys on Friday live.
Bye, guys.
Have a great night.